Good morning. Welcome to the Meltdown. I hope you're having a great day. What a change in weather. Holy cow. Go from 4 days of wet and ugly to beautiful and gorgeous. Well, I got to tell you that it doesn't take a lot of time to analyze a market and realize that it's being manipulated. Folks, I reach out to everybody and I want to talk to folks. I don't care if you got $100 or 100 million. If you don't have a plan on how you're going to protect your assets in lieu of what I remember being termed, gosh, it's probably been 10, 15 years, the banksters. Look that one up, will you, Michael? See if you can Google it and find out when the banksters were first purported to exist. Now, I'm not talking about the Trilateral Commission. I'm not talking about those secret groups. That was something I thought was under the Clinton administration is when the banksters were brought out. Folks, we look at things from a realistic standpoint because when you get right down to it, the only thing that makes any sense is truth. And so I'm looking at markets that are trading. I'm listening to the guys who are the commentators in New York and around the country that can purport and report what's going on with the Department of Justice, with the SEC, with FINRA, looking at what JP Morgan Chase and Goldman Sachs and everything else that's been utilized. Look more current if you would, Michael, see in the last 15, 20 years. The original term banksters goes back to 1937. Michael's doing some research while we're talking about it. And I don't want to lose my train here. I want you to understand that there is a fundamental reason to own gold. And it's not just the gloom and doomers. It's not the right-wing conspiracy theorists. I'm not looking at who really shot JFK. Those events occurred. What I'm concerned about is how we're headed down the path and what it's going to look like all over again. We talk about a real estate bubble. We talk about an art bubble. We talk about bubbles. And I can tell you that there was the Psalm of Bay book that transacted last night, $14 million. When Bill Gates was in his spare time leisurely looking at Leonardo da Vinci's works, he wanted to own the books and spent $30 million to do it. Now, most of us couldn't even fathom that much capital, that much money, that much net worth. But when you talk about being worth 80 billion, 30 million doesn't really make much of an impact. I look at the fact that what appears to be a bear market really is a manipulated market. I'm talking about gold. I'm talking about Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan and all the different companies that purport the amount of gold in their warehouses that they can't justify because it's not there. And the amount of fines and the amount of billions of dollars that get moved all around. I'm talking about last Friday, the government saying that they're finally out of the old General Motors buy that we bailed out, but the government puts the profit in the coffers. You and I didn't see any of the money. If you lived in Detroit or around where the GM plants are, you got to see a benefit. But the rest of us, we just sit there and kind of look. Now, I continually talk about the fact that you can look online and you can buy based on the recommendations of myself or any of the other, quote, coin guys that are in the industry. There's a lot of information that flows. Most of you don't understand or have the confidence, the trust in who you're speaking with to make sure that the values that you're getting are valuable and they're worthy of the transaction. I worry about that. What I'm looking at now is I'm looking at affirmations that Chinese gold imports from Hong Kong surged to over 130 tons in October. There's no bear market for gold in China. There's no bear market in India. We're talking about dense populations with millions of and billions of people who are in the process of importing gold because they have no faith in the US dollar. They have no faith in the world currencies. They have very little trust of each other, let alone, quote, the white people over in America who are going to destroy the economy. Look at Germany, look at Great Britain, look at how things are progressing, and that we're spreading paper around like it's going out of style. Now, most investors, as far as I'm concerned, are worried about losing value. So you guys want to buy the cheapest product because whether it's a 5% premium or a 7% premium over the melt value, it's not a 15% premium or a 30% premium or a 10,000% premium when you get to the super rare. Typically, that's where I find the best preservation of the assets that you're moving. I love spouse coins. I think most people know that. I think that you probably have perceived the value of $20 gold pieces, and this is the accumulation of knowledge that I've been building for over 30 years that goes from investment consulting to coin dealer. And yes, there are thousands of different types of coins out there, dating from the colonies to the 1790s when the U.S. Mint began processing coinage, from copper to silver. Gold came on board in 1795. The U.S. Mint, 1792, was when the half diem was produced. I've held the half diem, pretty cool coin. But you're going to spend $50,000 to $100,000 for relatively zero silver. Yes, there's some silver content. Doesn't really matter is what I'm going to tell you. And so from my perspective, as I move forward, and I retrace steps to get material that I know is marketable and stays liquid, a third, and a third matters. It matters because of the thousands of dealers here in the United States and the multiple companies that authenticate and grade coins. Some people use NGC or PCGS. Others use some of the other companies. All I can tell you is that CCE is the Certified Coin Exchange. You can join if you're going to spend enough money to warrant paying the $150 to $250 a month for your membership, and you can log in without having the money up. You can't trade, but you can see what's going on. And I can tell you that there are coins that trade for 3 to 10-fold over what the bids are because anybody can put a bid up. One of the coins that I bought in 2003, I was at a major show, and the Mongolian Mint was present at this event. And I bought a 3-kilo silver coin. Comes in a big wood box with the certificate of authenticity. The only thing that I can find that's even remotely close to it is on eBay at over $8,000. But there's a dealer out there who offered me the silver content value, about $1,500. That's almost borderline ugly, but ultimately it happened. And so from my standpoint, things happen, and I get it. I really do. It's from that standpoint that I have the concern, and from that standpoint that I move forward and look at different things, different options, different possibilities, and ultimately putting together a portfolio of coins is making sure that you've got things that are of value and you don't get caught in a fire sale, which is why I always say every show that I talk about coins or gold, it is discretionary money, it is diversification, it's the understanding and the plotting of what's going on in the world and realizing that the biggest banks are manipulating everything that they can get away with. It's understanding that the foreign concerns are still buying gold because it's real money and anybody will trade with it. As a matter of fact, it's been purported that when the French are buying oil from Iran, they don't want US dollars, they don't want francs, they don't want pound sterling, they want gold because gold matters in the world. Oil matters, but is that an artificial market too? Probably. And so when things change and there's a free fall in the economy, you look at what's going on in GLD or SLV. Those are the biggest ETFs. And I talk to people all the time about ETFs. It's paper. There's nothing really back there except the full faith and credit of the banks, the co-custodians that are talking about it. And it's the co-custodians that worry me the most. Now, from that standpoint, I worry even more. And my concern is that whether you buy into it or not, the use of gold by central bankers is where it really gets serious. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, Scotia Makata, UBS. Heck, UBS is so guilty of what they did in the LIBOR scandal that they cut an immunity deal with the European Union so that they don't go after them. Why the heck hasn't Moody's, Standard & Poor's, or Fitch dropped the credit ratings of debt? The last time it happened on a serious note, maybe a year or two ago, there were death threats over it. That's because this entire economy is a house of cards waiting to fall, and you build a proper foundation in your portfolio by adding gold, silver, platinum, and rare coins. And folks, if you don't think rare matters, look at the car market, look at the art market, look at the book market, look at rare coins, look at where the money's running to, and understand that the day's coming where there won't be enough of this product laying around and you need some security. That's what gold is supposed to do. Now, I look at sustaining the cash costs of mining. Mining is what produces the gold or silver, platinum too. And in Russia, they shut down platinum mines 20 years ago because the equipment was so outdated and antiquated, they were losing to the value of the metal. Now it's been 15, 20 years, so how do you reactivate those mines knowing it's going to cost so much money to go back to it? When Michael shared his show Thursday, he talks about the infrastructure in the United States by 2020 costing $4 trillion to fix it. We've seen bridges fail. That's part of what the $4 trillion constitutes. And I want to say when all that happened, that they were talking over 1,000 bridges in this country.
Yeah, it was like 750.
Yeah, okay, 750. Sorry, a little too heavy. 750 bridges. That means crossing over a bridge to go to work could collapse. And people died in Minneapolis. I mean, it was bad. So this isn't gloom and doom. This is just reality. And reality dictates you got to do some things different. And right now, I'm telling you to do it now. I'm suggesting you do it now. Folks, things get bad quickly. And this is exponentially a bad situation. It's going to happen fast. And you can't react fast enough because you think you're freaking liquid in your stock account or your bond account or your options accounts. And you've got a 3 to 5 day settlement. And if you're in over-the-counter stocks or some other form, it's going to take even longer to get through it. Liquidity is not in the marketplace. It is in the gold market. That's why China, that's why the foreign countries that have been accumulating gold, folks, in the Middle East, they won't buy anything that's not pure. In the United States, we hate that color, but it's pure gold. You've been wearing your chain or whatever it is that you had around your neck or your fingers, and you think it's of great value, but you know, there's a company that's out of business now, but 8 years ago, they were getting 20,000 packets a month of people that were sending in their broken gold. The market's dead. And gold buyers are falling like trees in a forest fire. They're going out of business. So you better have a deeper understanding of a market and not just rest on your laurels and not just rest on what was, because it's now about what is and what will be. I love U.S. coins because we live in the U.S. and it's an easy market to understand and there's liquidity. I don't care whether you're buying a coin that's $1 or $1 million. It depends on what you've got to work with. And that's why I want to sit with people. That's why people come visit me at the store, or I'll come and visit you. I'll certainly address a group. This is something I've done for over 30 years. I understand different markets. Most guys in my industry, if they don't have 30 years, they've been selling cars for a long time, or they've been doing siding sales, or all kinds of different things. This is new to them. For me, it's not new. And if all you've been is a coin dealer, then reality out in the marketplace isn't really that strong. I know guys that own Ferraris, for God's sakes. They make a lot of money in the industry. Are they disclosing the information? And that's really what this boils down to. Now, talking about mining costs, talking about the forces that bring the metals down, talking about the forces that affected the real estate market, things are massively increasing. And as registered gold is hovering near its all-time low, I'm talking about the inventories in warehouses. It isn't going to take a major amount of transactions to force the market up. Most guys are getting pitched to get into the commodities market in paper. That's not where I want you to be. I want you to own physical, tangible gold and silver and rare coins. And whether you buy a St. Gaudens high relief in 1907 struck with Roman numerals and you spend $10,000 an ounce, or $100,000 an ounce, the market, while it has a lot of coins to absorb, ends up moving a lot of material on a per dollar or a per transaction basis. And that's why you've got to be in there, and you need to do it sooner than later. Please do not wait for the typical transactions to occur and see the market move up $100 an ounce in the price of gold. We go from $12.40 up to $13.50 or $1400, and you go, wow, I just missed that 10%. Maybe I should get in now. Or even worse, you wait till you hit 1700 and you miss 20-25% of the market move. The market may go lower today or tomorrow or in a month or in 3 months. I'm looking out 3 to 10 years, and I'm telling you the cycles are much more dangerous. The government is absolutely juggling things faster and faster than it ever has, and ultimately the amount of manipulation that's going to be discovered both here in the United States and over in London is going to be excessive. There will be huge fines and there will be penalties, but what there's not is a great deal of gold coming out of the Middle East. It's not coming out of the Far East. It's not coming out of Asia. It's coming out of here. And we're selling gold, as we do most stupid things. Citigroup, I remember 5 years ago, I want to say they sold the bulk of the bank to Middle Easterners. We're losing our foothold in America every single day. We sell more land, we sell more oil, we sell more gold, we sell more tangible assets to the Far East, and we're losing our foothold here. Folks, you got to be smart and you got to think faster. And ultimately, this is not a message of gloom and doom. It's a message of prosperity and how you're going to protect yourself. And you start by picking up a telephone and you give me a call at 281-548-2646. That's 281-548-2646. If you're outside of the Houston market, 877-705-2646. Go to themeltdown.com. When you call us, if you'll hit option 0, you'll get a live voice. If we're busy and the system picks it up, leave us a message with a contact and I'll get back to you. You can email me, brett@thegoldexchange.net. You can go to the website at themeltdown.com. You can click on Contact Us. You can get to me. I'm easy to find. brett@thegoldexchange.net. That's BRETT at thegoldexchange.net. Now we're on top of Thanksgiving, so my prayers go out to everybody up in the Northeast, everybody who's at the airport. There's lots of travel delays and high winds, and that's going to ground flights, and it's a real debacle out there. But folks, this is the way you go about protecting yourself. And gosh knows you need to protect yourself because it is going to get bad. Remember, Ben Bernanke and Tim Geithner said a couple of years ago, it's 2014 and 2015 that things are going to get really ugly and bad. And trust me, they didn't lie. You think because congressmen or different senators or members of the House want to tell us things are getting better. Look at what the Labor Department says or the Census Bureau about how the housing market's starting to improve. It's not a big enough cross section of society to understand that only 1% of the people control 20% of the wealth. That's a huge disparity. The last time it was this big was 1929. And I don't want to hear about how good things are over in Europe because they're cooking their books just like we are. The debt is excessive. It's trillions and trillions of dollars, and it's growing faster than we're reducing it, and it's going to be a bigger problem down the road the next 3 to 5 years. And when gold's at $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 an ounce, and silver at $100 or $200 or $300 an ounce, you're going to wish you'd done this. That's why you diversify. That's why it's discretionary. It's the rainy day account. All right. I never want to get off air without thanking Texas Children's Hospital. If you go to themeltdown.com, click on the donation link for the Downs Clinic, you'll find that the information you provide in your tithe or donation or offering is all tax deductible. Fill out the information. It's all anonymous for me. All I care about is Dr. Ostermeyer taking care of children with disabilities and assisting them. My son Jason has mild Downs. I love being able to see them once a year. He is such a healthy little boy, and he is a joy to me every day. Now, I also promote the Ronald McDonald House at Texas Children's. And if you can provide a hot meal, 20 to 40 people that stay there because their children are in the hospital on any given night, or a tithe or an offering, please call 832-824-8600. That's 832-824-8600. Nancy Allen and her staff would be more than happy to help you, whether it's with the meal or the offering. And folks, if you have the ability to go by any of the small retailers that are out selling toys, and you can drop off some to the Fannin location at Texas Children's, I'm sure they would be more than happy to assist you getting it all in there. Whether it's one gift for a few dollars for a young boy or girl, or it's 20 gifts. You don't have to spend a lot of money because those kids are looking for anything. They just want love and attention. Anyway, I'll be back this afternoon. If you have any questions, I've given you the contact information. Michael will put it all up on the website shortly. Thanks. God bless you. We'll see you this afternoon sometime between 2 and 3 o'clock. Have a great day. We'll see you then.